What's up, y'all? Today's guest is David Affont. David is one of my clients. He was actually doing door to door roofing sales before reaching out and working with me. We got him from 60K, unstable commission, out of the house all day, missing his family, into an 85K, fully remote job, base pay, tech sales, career path, all of it. And his first job offer actually came within just 23 days from his first application being sent. And then 1 or 2 weeks later, he got the job offer that he actually accepted and is working at now. So enjoy the conversation. Well, David, for those of us who don't know you and your background, fill us in a little bit. I know you were doing door to door, and that wasn't all it was cracked up to be. So, what was life like before Sword? Why did you want to get into tech sales?
Yeah, well, tech sales was always the end goal of getting into sales to begin with. I think I just didn't realize until I came across your program how possible that was just with the experience that I had. So yeah, when I first came across your Instagram page and looked into a lot of the stuff you put on YouTube and all that, I was like, man, I think I actually have a better shot at getting a job in this industry if I play my cards right than I thought. And yeah, that obviously turned out to be true.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of knocking on doors and wasn't really in the position that I wanted to be exactly in terms of my sales career. And yeah, when I came across your program, I was like, man, I think I can actually get exactly where I want to be, like in less than a couple months here. And here we are.
Mm, mm. Talk to me about the personal side of door to door and like impact on family, right? Because I know tech sales is not a fit for everyone. And it's not like if you're in door to door, you could be crushing it. Your family dynamics could be great. But I also know when you're on doors all day, you're traveling a lot, the commission only aspect, like were those factors for you? And what did that kind of look like in your personal life?
Factors for me in what sense?
In terms of, like, wanting to get out and do something where you could
Oh
work from
yeah.
home and be in kind of a different
Yeah, I
environment.
mean, being completely on commission obviously is quite a risk at points. There's good weeks and there's bad weeks. But yeah, I mean, people do it. It's not like it's a bad job. I long term wanted to get into tech sales. I wanted to have something that was remote if possible. I wasn't sure if I was going to have to settle for like a hybrid gig in Denver or something like that. But yeah, I just wanted something that had more flexibility and long term career options and just the ability to make good money while also having like a career path ahead of me still. Whereas in the door to door world, like
Mm,
doing the door to door sales is like unless you want to start your own business, that's like the end of the road there. So yeah, it just provided a lot of options for me getting into this world.
mhm.
And I mean, yeah, every job I interviewed at, it was like, man, there's like 8 different ways I could go if I were able to get on here. And yeah, just having a really consistent base pay that's good. And I'm already like pretty surprised at just how much like investment Smartsheet's taking and just investing into the professional development side of things. It seems like there's a lot of opportunity to grow there, just in like having a proactive attitude about learning. Like they seem to really respect that and invest into that a lot. And that's just not something I was going to get in the door to door world in the same way that I am here for sure. So yeah, and then just
Mm,
working with a team as
I
well.
got you.
Like I actually have like a team of people I work with, and they're all pretty supportive and encouraging, and I feel like I'm already learning a ton from them. So yeah, overall, just a much better fit lifestyle wise for us with a small family.
Yeah. Let's go, man. I feel like the team thing is huge too. Because even, being a business owner, um, I I even get that isolation sometimes of like, "Oh, crap, man. I miss a
Hmm.
team." It's fun being on a
Yeah, I
team,
bet.
so that's huge. Yeah. How long did you know you wanted to get into tech sales, and what do you think actually held you back from applying? I know you said you didn't think you could get in, but what specifically
Yeah, I
was
mean,
it?
I first thought about doing it years ago, like back in 2021, I think was the first time I'd really considered trying to get an SDR job. Um, I think the biggest thing that held me back was just, and it's intimidating to get into a new career in a whole new industry that you don't really know a whole lot about, you know. Um, so I think a lot of it just not being confident I knew what I was talking about, which is such a helpful part of this program is just learning so many different things between, I mean, even just basic stuff like terminology, like in the first week of the course is like, oh shoot, that's like really helpful, shockingly helpful. But yeah, there's so many resources going through your program. Just listening to you talk about your experiences in the industry and having the individual calls with you, I feel like there was just a lot of gaps that were filled in along the way in terms of just like the lack of knowledge coming into this industry that kind of made me feel insecure about continuing to apply. Um, so yeah, I think that was probably just the biggest thing is not really feeling like I understand this industry very well.
How many weeks in are you over there?
This is week 2 today.
Week
Hmm.
2 today. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So you're in like the infancy
Hmm.
stage. Maybe the answer will be no then, but I'm curious, has anything from Sword already trickled over? Like anything you've learned or anything like that? Or not yet, because you haven't really been
Yeah, I
doing the
mean, we're
job yet.
still definitely just in like basic training stuff, but
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely learned a lot about like learning to ask good questions and making sure that's always a priority. I mean, that's one of like the biggest things that's been talked about so far. That like everybody from the people facilitating the training to like people that are training with me that have experience in this world, they're all talking about asking good questions and maintaining that persistent, curious spirit. So yeah, I think just having a little bit of like just with how the program's structured, having kind of an example set forth of like this is what it's going to kind of take to do this job every day. I felt like the expectations
Mhm.
were clarified a lot through this program. Whereas if I were to have gotten a job just on my own, I think I would have had a bit of a gap there of like what I needed to do to get the job, and then it's actually going to take to do the job long term. I feel like this program really clarified for me like exactly the kind of work ethic and attitude I need to bring to it. And I think that's more why I got the job than anything else. At the end of the day, is just having things that I could point to that showed that I was working hard to be proactive in my job search and be proactive with the people I was interviewing with, and then just having an attitude that stuck out. I think just yeah,
Yeah.
going through your videos, having one-on-one conversations with you, the encouragement you brought to the table. I mean, it just made it very clear like how I need to approach things.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to kind of build you up for a second, man, like 23 days to your first offer, that doesn't happen for everyone. The program average is 38 days, and the only difference in kind of where you fall on that bell curve is truthfully just
Mm,
effort. And you were working and you had a family to take care of and you were on this job search. And so I just want to commend you, man, for locking in, for focusing. And I think that's what Smartsheet saw in you. They're like, this dude's gonna grind. He's gonna work hard. He cares, and that's I think why you got to where you did so
thanks.
quickly.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty stoked about it. And
Yeah,
yeah, I feel like I learned
yeah,
about myself through going through this. Just it's not it's not hard to just like put the fluff to the side and focus. Like really, that's all it was is just
yeah,
focusing and choosing to keep working at it even when it sucked. We had a couple conversations where I was like, man, I feel like I suck at this. And you
yeah,
set
yeah. No,
expectations again, and that helped. And I went back to it, and it's all about just continuing to work harder, even when it gets hard, right?
yeah, man. I feel like that's just life. As
Yeah.
cliche as it sounds, it's like, yeah, life's hard, man. We just got to keep plugging away. Yeah. Tell me about discovering me. For you, I think there was a lot of and rightfully so, there was skepticism, right? Because I show up on Instagram, everyone's selling a course left and right, and I think you would really wanted to be sure that I was actually gonna be able to help you, and I was gonna be the right
Oh, for
person to do
sure.
this with. So Yeah, tell me about like that thought process because I talk to a lot of guys like you who have the same concerns, and I don't blame them. But what was that experience like for you, and why did you ultimately decide to partner with me
Yeah,
at
I mean, I
Sword?
think Instagram's just full of a lot of not very reputable resources in that regard. Like, I could probably create an ad for a course today and get it up on Instagram if I wanted to, you know? So I just feel like there's a lot of stuff that's not worth the money out there. Um, and I think what set you apart from all that, I don't know, I think I've just got a good sense of intuition for one. So like the first ad that I saw that came up, I was like, this is different than just all the other, you know, attention grabbing type of advertisements that seem very like salesy in a bad way. Like the like manipulative side of sales tactics, I feel like is what you see a lot in those ads. And yeah, you didn't seem to be grabbing attention, you just were asking for it. I don't exactly even remember what your ad was at this point. I just remember thinking like, okay, this guy looks like a very legitimate person. He looks like he's not trying too hard, which kind of speaks to confidence, which speaks to like whether or not your course is actually worth taking, you know? So I think that was the first thing. And then as I looked into your page and watched some videos on YouTube, I was like, these are all actually really spot on resources. A lot of the stuff that you were saying in your like main 1 hour video on how to get into tech sales, I remember watching through that and I was like, a ton of this stuff is resonating with me. And I just got like really motivated. I was like, man, I think I could like go get a job tomorrow after watching this. And I just got really interested. And then I think the biggest thing after that was like seeing that it's actually you doing one-on-one coaching. You're actually on these calls with people. It's not like I'm just buying a digital product that you're trying to sell as many copies as possible, you know, like you're actually in the trenches with people talking to them. I'm sure you do a lot. I'm sure you have a lot of clients, but I mean, I never felt like I wasn't a priority and all that. You know, I felt like every time I needed to really talk to you, you made time for me in your schedule that day. If I had stuff that I wanted you to review before I turned it in the next day, you'd like review it late at night or early in the morning. And then by the time I came back to my computer, there's always feedback ready. So I was just from the first like actual call we had to talk about whether or not Sword was right for me, I just was pretty convinced. Like,
Mm.
I don't know. There's a certain point where you're taking a risk because you're trusting someone, but I was just convinced from that point, like, if this guy's running all this stuff, he's actually on these calls with everybody every day. And then the other thing was all the glowing recommendations of videos that you're doing like this, where people are talking about how they came from similar backgrounds and it really worked in like a month, you know. I watched a ton of those videos and was like, okay, these can't all be your friends that are just acting for you, you know?
I
Right,
don't have
right.
that
There's
many
so many
friends, I
that it's like,
promise.
okay, I mean, yeah, you were big enough to see that like your program was really working, but small enough to where I believed it was still going to be very personal to me. And so that was like the
Mm,
perfect middle ground, I
mm,
think, for me as well, was seeing that like you're not
yeah,
brand new, which shows that like this is actually a valid course that works well for people. There's glowing reviews. There's tons of people saying that they've done it and they've gotten a job in less than 2 months. But also like it's not so big that I'm not still working with you directly.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. All of that means a ton. And that's why I do these videos. It's still biased because I'm here and I'm
Hmm.
posting them, but I hope people will like actually hear your heart in that. And so what would you tell the person who is on the fence, like you were, where it's like, it's like this is a lot. Like the time investment, the financial investment, it's a lot. What do you say to that person?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's case by case with the cost and all that kind of stuff that it takes to like do something like this. Like it depends on the situation, but for where we were at, I mean, we did the math and I was like, if I get into the pay range that you're saying I'm going to get into, this course will more than pay for itself. And then the opportunity it opens up
Mm,
in the next year or two after that will like it's exponential after that. So, and then the other side of it is like having to put money down on this, like I think it just very much clarified like this is what I'm doing, this is the path I'm taking next in my life, and everything else just kind of becomes
Yeah.
peripheral, you know. So for me, it really helped me focus
Yeah.
and like buckle down on this path. I think if I'd because I was thinking about trying to just use your free resources to do this on my own for a bit,
Hmm.
and it might have worked. I don't know how long it would have taken, and I highly doubt I would have gotten as good of a job as I got. Yeah, I mean, I was really thinking about trying to do that, but having to actually put some money where my mouth was, seeing that it was going to be worth it if it worked, and then having to actually invest in it, like it's like all I thought about for, for the first like 4 weeks. Like I didn't do like anything else than just grind out of the program because I'm like paying for it. You're putting your money out there. So I thought it was really helpful for me just
Yep.
to bring a strong sense of commitment to my path, which was ultimately to get an SDR job, and that was just ended up being through your course. But
Yeah. 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 The decision never gets easy to invest in yourself or to not invest in yourself. Like, no matter what, it's hard, but you kind of get to choose your hard
right,
in life, right? Like, some people would say, I don't even want to go into tech. I'd rather just grind it out over here. Some people would say, hey, there's free stuff. That's the hard I'm going to choose. It's going to be hard. Or some people are going to work with me. And to do that is hard. It's
yeah,
hard no matter what, right? But you get to choose your hard at the end
yeah.
of the
And the
day.
other thing I think for in my situation was there was a because we had talked about this personally one on one. Like there's a time issue for me. Like I was really trying to get a new job as soon as possible, and I think I was just really sold on that. If I do this program, like I'm definitely going to get the best job I can get as quickly as I can. So I saw like I was starting
Yeah.
to think after watching some of your free resources that I could have figured it out on my own. I think I was kind of wrong about that in hindsight because your program was way better than what I was going to do on my own, for sure. And like actually taught me stuff that I needed to learn. But but even if I had tried it, like I knew that I wasn't going to get nearly as good of a job, and it was going to take a lot longer. So for me, it was those two factors. Ultimately, I knew that it was going to work quickly, if it was going to work, and if it was going to work, I was going to get something really good. And here we are. It took like
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Here we are. Yeah. Yeah, you're at a great company, man. You're with leaders that care about you, and you're with like other. How big's the new hire class? Like what, four other
Um,
reps, something like that?
for the SDR team, they hired a bunch of SDRs for different teams. So I think there's 8 or 9 of us in the whole
Oh,
thing. But I got hired on
yeah.
my team with one other guy.
Okay. So a ton of investment is going into y'all because I mean, think about it from the business's perspective, how much money they just invested in
Hmm.
expanding the team. And it's good to see that you're having a good
Oh yeah,
experience
dude,
over there
they've
getting
been
invested
awesome.
in,
Yeah,
which is
they've
huge.
been awesome. I'm really thrilled with
Yeah.
everything so far. Like leadership seems really great.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I guess we'll end with this question, and that's, the people that listen to these videos are probably trying to get into tech sales, and so if you could give them specific advice, something you learned in Sword, um, something specific, what advice would you give them to help them actually go get a job in tech sales?
Go do the program. No, I mean, I just I took your philosophy and ran with it. I feel like I was quoting you like constantly, just doing the job to get the job. Like whenever people would ask me, when I'd get a hold of people through cold calling or like first interviews or whatever, people would ask me like what my job search has been like. Like that's immediately the thing I'd go to because like really without experience, I feel like that's all I really had to stand on. That was like actually valid and showed that I meant business, right? And because I had like a whole sequence of stuff in the works in regards to like let me figure out what I'm trying to say here. There was so much that I learned to do through doing your course that I felt like validated why I was actually the right candidate. That I was able to bring a confidence to those interviews that I think I just wouldn't have had otherwise. Like I said, I mean, my biggest thing keeping me from getting into this was just insecurity of like I don't really know this industry and I don't know what I'm doing. it's kind of just intimidating. So I thought about it, but never really did it. Um, so yeah, I think if you're not going to do a course like this, just like work really hard to learn as much as you can through resources online and actually communicate that you're putting in that proactivity to the people that you're talking with. Because I feel like,
Yeah.
I mean, even
Yeah.
just in the interview that got me the job, now, I mean, I think the final nail in the coffin was she asked if this course costs money, and I was like, yeah. And the fact that was like spending money to better myself to get a job like that, I think was the final thing for her. She's like, okay, like there's like three other things that were green flags for me here, but then the fact that you're like actually investing in yourself, like it shows that you're always gonna be someone who's gonna try and grow if you come and work in my team. I think that was the biggest thing for her by that point. Does that
Mm.
answer the question?
Wow. It
It's
does.
a little
Yeah. And I
sporadic.
think, the main takeaway is, to your point, like you have to be doing the job to get the job, because that's going to give you the conviction you need in these interviews to actually speak from lived experience, where like 2 hours ago you got rejected on the phone because you cold called a manager, and you do handle rejection well because you're here on an interview. Like it's just that kind of mindset. It gives you
Yeah.
that conviction that you need
Yeah, and I think
to do well.
especially uniquely with sales. I mean, I'm curious how like that kind of approach, like an aggressive approach like this would work with other industries. I'm sure that some people would respect it, but I think especially with sales, there's such an opportunity because of the nature of the type of job to do so much up
Yeah.
front to show people that you're different, you know? And I don't think I really quite understood that until I got started with your program. It was like, oh, this is like pretty simple actually. Like there's so many things I can do that speak so much if I'm just willing to do it and show up or put in the work or send in the slide deck the night before, whatever the thing is. And by the end of the program, like this wasn't even for the job I took, but for one of the jobs, I remember doing a bunch of stuff that was inspired by things that you taught in the course that I didn't even plan on doing. And nobody asked me to do it. I just was like, I'm going to do this because it will look like I'm working really hard, you know? And it stood out, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't end up going with that job, but like, like I said, it taught me a sense of like expectations of work ethic just for myself that I think was super valuable.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I think
Yeah.
especially the sales, like life is sales, you know, you're ultimately selling yourself in whatever you're doing, right? And if you're not going to do that in a sales interview or in a sales job search, like why would you do it when you're having a hard month at the job, you know? So yeah, I think more
Mm.
than anything, I'm just really grateful for the work ethic that a lot of this just really drew out of me. Like I think was always there. Like this is stuff that I think I was capable of. It's not like you gave me
Yeah.
something that I didn't have in that sense so much as like you called out something that I think was kind of lying dormant for a bit that I needed to kind of put my money out there for and have some humility to learn from somebody else, you know. So yeah, I couldn't be more happy with how this went. I mean, for me, like
I
everything
love
that
it,
I
man.
came here to get out of this program, I feel like I got, which is awesome. Like I feel like so
Yeah.
rarely do you
Yeah.
pay for something and actually feel like you got what you wanted out of it. But but I'm no longer intimidated by courses anymore. I mean, I still think there's a lot of bad courses online because it's easy to make a digital product and then just start making ads for it, right? But like I think the other thing I'm grateful for is you convinced me that like it's worth it to take a course if it's in my budget and it's for something that I really want to learn or get better at or improve at, and it's reputable. There's good reviews. Like I'm no longer afraid to put money down on something to grow, and that's for like anything. It's for like
Mm.
you see all the guitars in my background. Like I had a call the other day with a guy about a guitar course that I might do in like 6 months when money's a little bit more or a little bit less tight. That's super exciting for me. So thanks for that too.
It's
But yeah, it's
huge.
just worth it to invest in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, none of this happens without hard work. Let me make that very clear. Like
Oh
you worked
yeah,
hard, right, David?
grinding. I yeah, I
Yeah,
was working a lot
grind.
of hours doing
Yeah.
this, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah,
Totally
100%.
worth it.
Yeah. Well, man, I mean, first offer within 23 days of applying to your first job, and then I guess a week or two later, you landed an 85K fully remote job at a great company. So proud of you, man, and it was so fun working with you. So thank you so much for your hard work and all the
Thanks,
kind
man.
words
Thanks
today.
for
Appreciate you.
all your encouragement and like just being you, I feel like I was waiting, to be honest, the first, I think, like maybe week to see if like your persona was real or not. And yeah, you're just so consistently you. Um, Not that I like didn't trust you, but like I said, like I just met you through this course. Like it's not like I had,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I don't blame you.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
just also appreciate how you're yourself throughout the whole process. It was awesome.
I love it,
Yeah,
man.
thank you.
Thank you. Yo, if you are trying to get into tech sales like David was, well, I've got two resources for you down below. One is a booking link to meet with my team, and we'll figure out if we can actually help you or not. Transparently, we can't help everyone. This is one-on-one coaching, just like David was talking about. I cannot help everyone at the same time. So we are very picky about who we actually let in to Sword, because I don't have the capacity, the bandwidth, or sometimes the desire to work with everyone at once. So if you want to find out if we can help you, just talk to our team. We'll figure it out with you, and we'll help you make a game plan as well. Even if we can't help you specifically in a one-on-one context, we'll still be able to give you a game plan of how you should be approaching your job search. The second link below is access to our free community. This is the guide that David was talking about in this video, where he was tempted to go figure it out on his own and do it alone. That guide actually shows you step by step how to go get these interviews and ultimately these job offers in tech sales. But sometimes, people are time crunched, or they don't want to wait 3 months, 4 months, 5 months to go get a job on their own. They want to do it quickly, and that's where Sword comes into play. So we're here to help either way. Hit up one of those resources and we'll figure out how we can help you. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the video.